This is my vulnerable population assignment PowerPoint. My topic is prescription drugs, misuse, abuse, and addiction. There is a wide range of people that have prescription drugs that abuse, misuse, and become addicted. It occurs between the ages of 12 years and above. The problem occurs because of concerns like motor vehicle accidents, friends, falls, surgeries, health concerns, family history, education, culture, finances, etc. These are a few examples of ways that people can become addicted to their prescription drugs like opiates, medications for anxiety, depression, medications for bipolar disorder, mania, schizophrenia, things like that. And so these are only a few examples of ways that people can become addicted or misuse or abuse prescription drugs. Environmental factors play a big role on addiction drugs because of chaotic home environment, peer pressure, poor academic status, parents using drugs. And this is from an article that I found. Statewide in Utah, 456 deaths occurred because of opioid drugs in 2017. Nationally, 14.6 of 100,000 deaths occurred because of opiates in 2017. In America, 19.7 million Americans suffered from substance abuse drugs. Millions of people in Utah suffer from drugs, but it is a huge problem nationally and internationally. Everyone suffers in some way from drugs, either physically, emotionally, mentally, themselves, or because of family. And it can affect them in many ways because of others that they see become addicted, and so it can affect them even though they may not be addicted to drugs. Contributing factors, social determinants of health, income and social status, health care services, culture, language, literacy, education and job opportunities, safe housing, and local food markets are a few examples of some social determinants that can play a factor in prescription drug misuse, abuse, and addiction. These are only a few social determinants that can do this. Living conditions, access to food, health care can affect someone's life physically, emotionally, and mentally. Depending on where someone lives, like in an area of poverty, someone may not have a whole lot of access to food. Their living conditions can be poor, and so that can affect them physically, emotionally, and mentally. So sometimes they can turn to misusing, abusing, and becoming addicted to prescription drugs. The people that one spends time with will pressure some to abuse the drugs they use. So for example, like I was saying, in a poverty level area, there may be a lot of homeless people that will turn to drugs to help get away from their big problems that they have in life. Some root causes that cause prescription drugs are stress, mental disorder, loss of a parent, neglect, rape, isolation, abandonment, poor emotional and behavioral control. These are a few examples that I found in an article that explains certain things that can lead to someone becoming addicted to prescription drugs, misusing them, or abusing them, and then can also affect family members, friends, and especially parents that become addicted and misuse and become addicted to prescription drugs can influence their children as they grow up, that they will see that they believe that it is okay to use drugs. So it can lead future generations to become addicted. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. The certain areas of Maslow's hierarchy of needs that can be met are ones that are met are safety, physiological like food, water, and shelter. Those are areas that are typically met. Unmet areas are love and belonging, self-esteem, problem-solving, and confidence. These are typically areas that are not met because these people are suffering from loss, from parents abusing them, and many other factors. And so these areas are not met because they are typically hurt and don't feel loved and have low self-esteem, have a hard time problem solving, and have a hard time having confidence and trust in themselves. So that's why some people will turn to drugs for this reason. Anticipated function level function physically well, but mentally and emotionally have a hard time because of the abuse and addiction. Likely health outcomes: obesity or lose weight, homeless, get infections easier due to poor nutrition and living conditions. These are a few examples of health outcomes that can happen because of prescription drug misuse, abuse, and addiction. Some communicable diseases or infections that can occur because of this population. The main communicable disease that I found that I believe could occur is influenza or the flu, because when someone has an addiction to prescription drugs, they don't focus on their health very well and can become sick easily. Main reason why some meds that do this is because it can suppress the immune system, putting them at risk for infection. It is less likely that this population is to get communicable disease because of prescription meds. Good hand hygiene and education about the meds can be helpful to prevent this. Non-communicable diseases or infections. A variety of communicable disease infections can occur. Chronic respiratory infections, stroke, hypertension, coronary artery disease, congestion, heart failure, cancers, diabetes. This population is at higher risk of non-communicable disease because of the side or adverse effects of the meds, plus long use of being on them. Education about the meds, contraindications, and adverse effects can help prevent these from occurring. With self-care and self-harm, with certain prescription meds, one can with self-care have issues. Example of these kind of meds are ones for depression, anxiety, and sleep. They can cause one to not want to take care of themselves or their daily needs. Meds that can cause one to do self-harm or towards others are psych meds, like for bipolar, mania, schizophrenia medications. These meds can cause one to have thoughts of wanting to harm themselves or others. Proper education related to these meds is important to help those understand that this can occur and how to control it. Risk for harm by or to others. The risk to harm someone or be harmed by someone can be a possibility for this population. Many of the same reasons for the self-care and self-harm reason plays a part in this. When one is suffering from depression, panic attacks, mania, split personality disorder, anxiety are a few examples that can cause one to harm another person because of thoughts and actions. Also, with depression or anxiety, a caretaker could be tempted or have feelings to harm the person for whom they are taking care of because they're not able to focus on themselves and have too much of a burden on their shoulders, and will have thoughts of wanting to hurt the other person because of how much time and energy it takes to take care of them. So they become tired and have negative thoughts, and bad things can happen because of that, leading to harm. And these are my references that I found that helped me create this PowerPoint. Prescription drugs can be a huge issue for the population of 12 years old and older, especially at the beginning of 12, because peer pressure, parents play a big role in making a difference in people's lives. Thank you for this opportunity to share this population about prescription drugs.